Alrighty, my dudes, welcome. This is going to be a little bit of a review onto the new stuff that was announced in the most recent dev stream as of the 26th, I believe. And this is looking at all of the new jazz that has been implemented or that will be coming in due time, and then we're going to be getting some first opinions on it with Twitch chat and people therein. So, without any further ado, let's get straight into it. So these are some of the new models and jazz that will be going to be introduced. These are the new swords, the ballast. Some oversized weaponry, things that you can grasp with your hands and jazz. I'm not sure whether these are going to be... I wasn't actually in the dev stream myself, so this is going to be very interesting to see how this all comes out. And if you guys have any opinions on any of these swords or weaponry that you see, then show them below. Leave a comment in the video on YouTube if you're watching this from YouTube. Let me know what you think. Yo, Moki, welcome to the stream, dude. Appreciate your follow. So these are the new swords that will be coming out with the... I believe these are the new two-handed katanas, I believe, which are going to have their own individual stance mod to them as well, and some of the animations we've already seen for these look very impressive as well. This is something I've been very impressed with in general with Warframe recently, is their ability of making things look themed. They've got a very dab hand at making things look very good, and I think some of these skins we're going to be seeing momentarily are going to sort of extend that idea as well. So moving on, we got the new Corpus model. It seems like a bit of a rework on some of the other models they've already had, and I'm loving some of the tiny little details they've got. It almost looks like they've got one of the Zor components on there as well, and just like the levels of detail they're going into with some of these is really nice. I'm not sure when we're going to see this one in particular. I think this might just be replacing some of the models that already exist, maybe. I mean, some of the things about the remodel or just this new model. And there's so much just attention to detail in them now. I think the helmet looks a little bit weird. It looks like Buzz Lightyear decided to smash his head into a wall and this was the result. I don't know, maybe they could have kept it had it slanted a bit. It's kind of a bit weird. In fact, it looks a bit like... What was the bounty hunter from Star Wars that came to rescue... the one that Princess Leia was trying to be in the Star Wars Episode 6 when he went to rescue Han Solo. Oh, it looks kind of like that, only much bigger. And the Twitch chat seemed to be reacting much the same way as me. The helmet's a bit weird, but I actually like the detail they put into the body armor, or the outfit in general. Kylo Ren. Swolo Ren, you mean? All right, moving on. And now this is much better. I think all of the helmets should look a bit more like this. I still think it's a bit chunky, but I like the amount of detail they're going into with the actual outfit itself. The whole tubes and whatnot. I think if these are going to be like the default outfits now, these are going to be really cool. Okay, so moving on. Now this is going to be the interesting one. So if I'm not mistaken, this is the one that has the shield generator, I think, and then this is going to be the default soldier dude, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, these models are vastly superior. Just the level of detail in them is going to be like a vast improvement. I think this is something that DE in general have been trying to do a lot recently, just make the game a lot more aesthetically pleasing, because the game's been out now for what, 5-6 years almost, and like obviously with as games progress, you need to keep up to date and make sure things are progressing along with the times, and I think this is a really good endeavor towards getting to that. So then we move on to I believe this is the first image we've seen for Cora's full design, I believe. And I'm not sure whether this is going to be coming with a cravat thing or not. Either way, she's looking really interesting. She looks a bit like a female Harrow. What's this? Let's put these out a second. Yes. Okay, so they are actually doing a revamp to hair mechanics, which I think is going to be quite cool. Because right now we're stuck with like 6 or 7 different hairstyles, and they all make you look a bit like an angsty teenager. But that's pretty cool. Like, there's definitely a lot more attention to detail going into the way hair works. Some of the hairstyles right now make me think I've just come from like some weird punk cyber rave of some kind. And oh yes, of course, you can now. I saw this a while back. You can now hijack Dargans on the plains of Eidolon, and that is good. Dude, could you imagine Dargan racing on the plains of Eidolon? That would be dope. I think we have to organise something like that, where we get 4 people in, and then the winner, you have to do a circuit of the Eidolon or something. That'd be so cool. Look how cool that is. That's like that. I like the fact they give you the option to this. I do have to wonder why though. I mean, it's cool. It's a nice little gimmick. You have the option to. But why? I mean, unless these are... Like, so long as they do more damage than using a turret in friggin' the regular Grineer missions or Corpus missions. Because I can't imagine that these are going to do a substantial amount of damage. Alright, so moving on. This is the new gun coming with Korra by the looks of it. It looks like I think this is going to be a secondary, with which kind of reminds me of the Needler from Halo a little bit, actually. I quite like that. Looks pretty funky. Again, they've gone with this whole themed idea. Everything, but when they make a set of items with a theme, they all seem so synchronous with each other. They look really nice. Oh, Tala Raygo has in the chat has made a mention that the reason that they've made those Dargons rideable is because so that people who may not have made an Arcwing launcher for the Plains of Eidolon would be able to ride them, which is a very valid point. I think that's a very good way of looking at it, actually. I do agree. I do agree. Moving on. So these are the Cora work in progresses as to how she was developed and the potential ideas that went into her. And looking at some of these, like this has obviously been thought about for quite some time, and there were ideas going about with her from all the way back from 2015. God damn. And it's interesting to see how she's developed from all the way back then to now. Like that's interesting. She had some work put into it even before Ivara was put in the game. Damn, Daniel. Tactical Fatty in the chat says the Kavat comes with Cora as part of her abilities. Damn, that's pretty interesting. Well, I suppose this is all the thing, though, right? Nothing about what we're seeing here is guaranteed unless it's in the game already, but I suppose that should really be a disclaimer. Everything you're seeing here is just an impression. It's not something that's guaranteed to happen, and we're sort of giving a review of and our own opinions on what's happening here. So moving on, I do find it interesting. Like she actually has a bit of a Valkyr feel to her as well, especially the way the front plates move with her body. So moving on, we have so these are some updates with the lighting, and I've been keeping an eye on this myself. Another going along this whole theme of updating the general aesthetic of the game and the overall quality. They are making massive updates to general lighting and optimization with the quality of lighting as well, and just general graphical improvements, which for a game that's free and a game that runs as smooth as it does, or even on a potato, it's very surprising to see that they're actually going to this level of detail to improve it even further. And sometimes you got to remember, this game is free. This game's free, guys. Like you don't have to pay a penny to play this game, and yet you get quality like this. The lighting, it almost makes it feel like it's like a night out almost. Like it almost looks like the back alley of some futuristic bar. You know what I'm saying? It almost looks like it's it almost looks hyper realistic now in some respects. I quite like that. It's a very close attention to detail, this one. It'd be interesting to see how this is actually implemented and whether we'll notice much of a difference when it does eventually come in. So moving on again, we have the NEZHA Dulux skin, which is probably one of the biggest swings I've ever seen in my life. So we know NEZHA, that flamboyant femboy-looking character, all of a sudden grew up, became a daddy, and now we have our senpai. If this is how it ends up looking when it comes into the game, I'm going to be drawing the shit out of this. Oh god, that looks so incredibly cool. I'm really hoping that those particles, that the flames on the background designed here are going to be actual effects coming off of the character, because this looks amazing. I believe it's going to be based off of the some of the very relevant lore that was with NEZHA, where it's sort of almost like an animalistic, almost like a Chinese New Year dragon stuff. You know how you get those Chinese New Years where you got the dragons and the piñatas and all those things going down the street, and they got people under the dragons. Oh, whatever they're called. It reminds me of a very festive New Year style thing for China almost. And I feel that's the theme they've been going with this. I can't wait to see how this looks like when you've got different color palettes on it as well. That'd be very interesting to see. Moving on, I believe this is the skin coming in with Octavia's Dulux pack. Does anyone know what weapon this is for? Is this going to be a new weapon? Because I don't actually know what weapon this is. Either way, it looks really cool. So, I can't quite guess what weapon that is actually offhand. Maybe the chat knows. Flower power.
It is the skin of the devil.
Well, I mean, either way, regardless of skin, regardless of what gun it's for, it does look pretty damn dope. Not gonna lie, that might just be a rifle skin in general, maybe? I guess we'll see. Either way, it's very, very cool looking. It looks almost Halo-esque. Dubstep gun, blah, 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 blah. Cold Knight, you might be correct, sir. If this thing shoots dubstep, then I would be very happy. Because this is coming with Octavia. You could never know. Then we've got some new Sindanas coming in. This is something I've always been an advocate of. The Sindanas are an amazing addition to the game. Gives you a lot of potential fashion frame sense with this one. And this one in particular is looking pretty nice. It's the Octavia Dulux Sindana. So I can see this working quite well with Octavia herself, but probably with a lot of other frames as well, actually. In fact, this would work really well with Valkyrie Prime, I think. Moving on. So we now have some more. We have some concept art for the Octavia Dulux skin, and if it does end up coming into the game looking anything like this, I think this is going to be a really interesting frame. And this is sort of something we saw with Mag Dulux, the Mag Dulux skin. The sheer level of detail and the sheer level of rework they've done to the Dulux skins is insane. Like, for me personally, I have no problem with paying a bit of extra money to be able to get these amazing looking skins. And this is not me being a Warframe partner either going, you should buy these skins. This is me literally saying these skins have so much attention to detail and so much effort put into them. They're well worth the amount you would have to pay for them. And honestly, like, just looking at this, it takes a very big turn from what the original Octavia was, which is very refined lines, very regimented work, and very, very straight contours all over her body, and all of a sudden she's become this like almost like Titania style element to her now, where she's got very flowery, a very mixture of Titania and sarin in there. It's pretty cool. It's very interesting design work. It'll be interesting to see how that actually looks if it comes into the game like that. Oh, actually, tell Light's already got a 3D model of it, so damn, that is.
They put Mirage with her.
That is pretty damn cool. Okay, well, again, see if that comes in like that. So we've got Operator Suit. The Operator has been in the game, obviously, since the second Dream. And since then, the outfits they've been wearing, in my eyes, have been probably one of the blandest things I've seen in the game. They've never really had much inspiration to them. I'm glad they're going back over them. I really am, because these look really cool. Just the little attentions to detail they've been adding, the little creases, the little flexes of where the clothing joins. It makes it seem a lot more believable, rather than the gimp outfits they're wearing at the moment. Moving on. So we have a Dulux. Oh, this looks like another Excalibur skin that'll be coming in soon. I'll be honest, like, Excalibur skins have never really interested me, and seeing this, it almost feels like they're trying to pull away from that, like, cliche horn style they've always had for him. I kind of like it, but whether this comes in the same as this, and then we've got a Vauban Dulux skin. Now, it seems like they've been trying to go down this very oriental theme with a lot of these skins, and I like this one a lot. Because it almost takes a complete turn on what Vauban looks like originally, which is a very military style, and takes an almost oriental military style with it. So that is really cool. I like that. That's very. It almost feels like a bit of a Rhino aspect in there, but it's got a bit of steampunk as well. Gonna be very interested to see how that actually is interpreted into being in the game itself. And I think that's all we have for the overall Dulux skins. I think we're going to take a quick look at the Mirage Prime stuff. Oh, no, that was already in the game, so yeah. I think, actually, this is a very valid... this might be worth looking at, actually. Like, seeing how much people enjoyed the Plains of Eidolon is very interesting. I'll be honest, I'm about a 6. I'm about a 6 or a 7. When it first came out, I'm pretty sure everyone was like at the 8, 9, 10 mark. Me personally, after having seen it come out for a while, I'm sort of at the 6, 7 mark. It's still a really lovely gimmick to have in the game. I just wish there was more to do on there. I really do. What about the chat? What do you guys think? Where would you be on this chart?
4, because I can't do it. Actually, no, 1, because I can't do it.
Da 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 bam bam. 10. 9. 8 to 10. 6 to 7.
I was waiting for it to go 7, 6,
9.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I think honestly, like, I don't think I would ever want it to go below a 6, really, in the average scape of it. Like, it's still, even though it's been out for a while, and even though we've all had our experience of it, it's still something that's very different. I think with the Plains of Eidolon, they did a great endeavor on trying to break the cycle of go here, do a mission, leave the instance. Having this never-ending ability of staying in an open-world environment is a great addition, and I really hope that whenever we see the next open-world environment, that we get to expand on that further. Because right now, the Plains of Eidolon as it stands was a great test of theory. You know what I mean? I think that was it for that one. And obviously, we have the new sword animations as well, and all that sort of jazz coming in. And, you know, this is another thing that we're sort of seeing with DE recently as well, is just their intrepid adventure to try and improve the overall feel of the game. You know what I mean? So I think with that, we've seen everything we need to know and everything that's been worth mentioning with currently in the Warframe. And for those who are new and maybe not have seen this YouTube stuff before, we are going to be doing this a bit more frequently. We're going to be sort of revamping the YouTube side of things. So if you want to see more of this content, guys, make sure you leave a comment down in the description below the channel. Leave some comments as to what you may want to see in the future. Make sure you leave a like and a subscribe. And I'll see all of you guys in the next video, guys. Ta-ra!